these are these are my favorite memes. I like memes, and this one is my favorite one. Like, it works on my computer, and it works on my computer, but Thor will say, yeah, but if we are not going to give you a computer to the client. That's true. When something is working on your computer, but if it is not working in a test environment, or um, some test is failing and it's not working at particular stage, then we are not going to give it clients, which really humorous I found, and actually it's makes sense. And in another, the same kind of memes I have, like, your code has broken the production, it works on my machine, then we will ship your machine. It's not like that in real world entity. uh, yeah, and I have experienced this kind of things. Like, if something is working on your machine, means it's not like it will work on a client side machine if you are going through the using the traditional ways of deploying your applications. Like, everything you are setting up in your machine locally, and you are going. So Docker is the solution of this key situations occurs in every software developers. Let's understand by the process. Like, when we are setting up any application, what we'll do, we'll set up the database, then we set up the applications, then we through the servers, and then we start the servers, and application get loaded, and all the things will work. But for these things, we manually go and do all things through our machine, like laptop or something. And the same things we have to do to the person's machine who are want to use our application, so which is a very time consuming process, and it requires it requires skillful persons who are very much experienced, skillful persons who have at least experience to get setting up all things. If something is missing, or something is not working in, or something mismatch happen, then again the time will increase to set up the things. To all the messy things about the deployments get resolved just a quicker way, using the Docker. The main concept behind the Docker is like, you just require a machine which supports the Docker, and you require a image file, a proper Docker image file created for your application. That's it. Once you verify the Docker image file is working and it's proper, then you can deploy anywhere. You can deploy anywhere that application which uh, build using the Docker files on any machine which supports the Docker. So that's the beauty of Docker. You don't need to worry about the any configurations, any database settings or something which we have to do manual things. So that's the beauty of Docker, and we are going to see more about it. So that was the key concept behind the Docker. So let's see a few more things. Like, okay, so Docker was launched in 2013 by American technology company Docker Inc., formerly known as .cloud. This is the background history of Docker, and so this is the key line tagline of Docker. I say that with the help of Docker, developers are able to write code or build application without worrying about the environment. So that's the important thing. Like, if someone is using a Linux base, or someone uses Windows, or someone uses some different machines, that will not bother for them to deploy any application, because Docker will take care. Just Docker should be running state in their machine. And Docker is very optimized and very brilliantly implemented in a such a way. It will use only the required resources only. It will not compare the machine dependent on their how many resources are available, like a lot of, or minimum or something. It just look for the required resources and it will work fine. That's it. Why in a sudden way Docker is got famous nowadays? Like, most of you people know, many of the giant IT companies uh, uh, are looking for the CI/CD development, CI/CD type of deployments, which includes Docker, Jenkins, Kubernetes, and other stuff. So why they are looking for such a technologies? So here are the some key advantages of Docker. Like first is consistent and isolated environment, as I told. Like it will itself create its own environment, own setup. It's not dependent on the what specification your machine have. Like yeah, definitely your machine will have minimum requirement as a developer or a tester, whatever the setup. But Docker very brilliantly efficiently use them, and it creates its own environment in a such a way, so your application will work fluently, and it will optimize the total usage of all the resources. Okay. Second point is rapid application deployment. This is the most important point in case of Docker. Like uh, if we are going for a deployment of application without such a tool like a Docker, then you have to take care for everything, like preparing the scripts for the database, with the consideration of database, then preparing the configurations file for setting up your applications, then configuring different resources and all things related to the deployments. But in using Docker, it's very much convenient and easy to do. So that's a lot more details will be there in these areas, but we are not going in a deep. Just right now we are trying to understand the advantages. Then ensure scalability and flexibility. This is very much important. Like if you say the biggest giant IT companies like Amazon, Flipkart, Google, they mainly focus on these properties, that scalability and flexibility is more important for them, because 24 by 7, all day, all year, every time, their application should be scalable and flexible to what we say to satisfy or to complete each and every request came across from the globe, from every any customers. So which is very important. So scalability in the sense, like you don't need to manually go and look for how many resources are getting consumed, then what kind of upgrade or what kind of system change you need to support the whatever load is coming up and something that. And in flexibility, you mean to say like something you need to change in your application, some new upgrades you want to do, or some part you want to test of application, that also can be happen with very a lot easier way using this Docker technology. Then the next point is a better portability. As I told already and mentioned that it will just require a Docker, like Docker supported a machine, then any application which is working on basis of Docker, it will easily get deployed in any machine. Either it will be on cloud or your local machine. That will be perfect. And then fifth is cost effective. Definitely if we consider the above 4 points, then definitely the overall the cost requirement of your application development in the total the SDLC life cycle, we say, it will drastically effectively optimize the total cost of your application development. Sixth one is inbuilt version control system. This is a very important another feature of Docker. Like it provide inbuilt their version control system. So basically then we can maintain a uh, layer of image versions. So how you like in any software development life cycle, we build a software step by step. So Docker can take care of the that life cycle of software in the stages what we adding new features to it, and we can maintain the images of each level. And we can at any point of time, if we consider like we want to roll back to the previous stable version of any application image, then that also it can be happen in the Docker. So basically if you know the concept of a GitHub, where we do rollbacks and other stuff to maintain our code and stability of application, the same features is available with the Docker. And the last but the important one is the security. So that important aspect with regard of any application also get taken care by the Docker itself, because it's uses containerization, and in itself it has the standard followed, which are very important when we are considering any application security. if you want to go in more deeper how the Docker security works, then we can go to the official documentations of Dockers and we can get more information. But yes, we can ensure we can say Docker provides some securities at some level for our applications which we are deploying through the Dockers. But if you want more effective the securities, we can add by ourselves also while using the Dockers. So that's all the advantages about the Dockers. I hope you find this useful, and this is just the introductory part of the Docker, and we will in upcoming videos we will see how we can set up Dockers and how the Docker works and the different concepts and uh, terminologies getting used in a Dockers, which is very interesting journey and very important, because these are the top notch one of the top notch technologies getting used across the global. So we will see how we can gradually get ourselves more knowledge about the Docker. Okay, thank you.